92.3 Amp Radio.
So tell us more about Uptown Funk, which came out of nowhere. Like, we're sitting here, I'm listening, I'm like, Mark Ronson, this is, and Bruno Mars, and I'm putting two and two together. I'm like, Bruno's been out for a minute. How did this all happen?
Well, I worked with Bruno on his last record. I co-produced Gorilla and Locked Out of Heaven,
Yep.
and you know, he's so incredibly talented, and we have a lot of like, you know, mutual things that we love about music, and a lot of that is like funk and, you know, the great black dance music of the late 70s and 80s, and we just started jamming on this idea. Bruno's on drums, Jeff Basker on the keys. Jeff's an amazing producer who did a lot of 808s and heartbreaks and all of the lights, and myself on guitar, and it just kind of came out of this jam. And then, you know, Bruno's a perfectionist in the same way I kind of am, so the song took a long time to complete because we kept being like, you know, we want to make it better. And also when you're introducing a new sound that people haven't really heard, you know, it doesn't quite sound like everything else on the radio, you got to make sure that it's just got so many great hooks on it that you kind of like get in the door. So we're just, you know, we're doing that, and that's, so the song, it's definitely the most work I've ever put into any record, one particular song, but I think it's, you know, I listened to it and I'm glad that we did.
Now, do you feel where music is going right now, this is like the perfect time and place to release music like this?
I think so. You know, I love making records that stand out when you hear them, because, you know, that's kind of that's the ultimate goal. You know, I think that when Rehab came out, nothing really sounded like Rehab. You know, when Locked Out of Heaven came out, nothing really sounded like it. I like it. I like it. It's a thrill for me to hear something come on the radio that sounds refreshing, if I had something to do with it. But you know, there's so much great dance music out now, and I just wanted to make a song that was dance music but just played by us, you know.
Yeah.
So that was the thing behind it, and it's cool that people seem to be really into it.
Now, they are really into the show and a lot of love. Tell me more about the different artists you got coming out on your album.
On the album, so basically I produced and wrote the whole thing with Jeff Basker, like I said, and we had this idea to go driving through the south of the Mississippi from New Orleans up to Chicago, and we went to a lot of churches to find like a young singer, like amazing vocalist, like it was Shaka Khan almost. Yeah. So we found this girl, Kiani Starr, in Jackson, Mississippi, who's amazing. And on the way, that's where we ran into Mystical, who's on the album, and that's who we did the song on, second song on SNL with. A$AP Rocky is on the record. Stevie Wonder plays harmonica on the intro, which is one of the greatest things that I think has ever happened to me in all of life, I think. And yeah, and just some other kind of performances. Kevin Parker from Tame Impala, who's one of my favorite rock bands, and yeah, there's some others I'm forgetting, but that's kind of the meat of it.
Where'd you get all this soul from, dude?
I out of a box, cereal box.
Like,
I don't know. You know, my dad was really into you know, Motown and Stax, and those kind of had those records growing up, and I just remember as a kid listening to the radio and just always being drawn to anything that had horns in it, you know, even if it was just in pop music. And then when I started DJing in clubs in New York, you know, I loved, you know, I listened to the radio, to Red Alert and Flex and people like that, go see Stretch Armstrong and Clark Kent in clubs, and just learn from going to see other DJs, and you just love what you love, and hopefully that's what you get good at.